Episode 118. Reassurance in Resistance. Introducing Jazz Sagar on the BTS Creative Academy Podcast, Uncut. With me, your host, Martin Colton. So I've invited you here today, Jazz, because I wanted to get to know you and hear about all the things that you've been getting up to. So you're a filmmaker.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Been in the post-production world for most of your career, and now you're recently moving into making your own independent films.
Yeah. So it happened. I've always worked in post-production, editing, visual effects, special effects. I worked on like 45 Hollywood films, green screen, VFX. I've always wanted to direct. I think I did want to do that originally, but then I was like, there was some resistance towards it, thinking, oh, everybody wants to do that. It's so hard. It must be hard to get into that. So I just kind of forgot about it, really. I made a couple of short films. One of them I never finished. I think I made it too complicated. It was set on the train, lots of 3D. And so I had a lot of resistance. And then one day I just thought, you know what? I'm going to forget about that film. The short film that I never made.
Yeah.
Because I always thought in the back of my mind, I need to finish that before I can do anything, before I can move on. But then as soon as I kind of stopped it, then everything kind of fell into place, you know, So
was that a personal resistance? Tell me a bit about that resistance that you were feeling when you were doing it.
Yeah, I just thought I need to finish this film, you know, before I can do anything more creative. But I did realise that sometimes you can just change your path, and that's what I did. A friend of mine, as soon as I thought that, a friend of mine said to me, can you edit my short film? And he's a cameraman. And I was like, I don't really want to go back into editing, but I thought, I'll do that as a favour. And I said, can you film my movie? And he said, yeah, what's it about? I said, I don't know, but we start filming next week on Monday. And he was like, he just laughed. And then I was like, quickly wrote a script. I had an idea of a movie kind of brewing in the back of my mind. I've been studying quantum physics for a few years, thinking about it. And I like this movie called Man Bites Dog. C'est arrivé chez près de vous. I don't know. I mean, if you're French, sorry, my French is terrible. But basically,
I do know.
Do you know the one?
Yes,
yeah, it's called Man Bites Dogs, where it's a very low-budget Belgian film.
Yes.
And very successful when it can.
Often studied by filmmakers, isn't it?
Yeah, it's often studied by filmmakers. I love the movie, and it just follows single camera, handheld, this guy walking around, very charming and just murdering people, and then getting the camera crew to kind of help him in the murders, right? So I had this idea that I want to make a movie where I'm talking to the camera crew, or the main actor is talking to the camera crew, and try and think of a story kind of on the spot, not think about it too much.
So quite improvised.
Yeah.
And did you have skills of being, are you an actor as well?
No.
As being a filmmaker?
No,
is there a performer in you?
No, not really. I studied Introduction to Acting many years ago. I know I like acting, but it's not my thing. I wasn't meant to be in the movie, so it was supposed to be my cousin who'd studied acting. He couldn't turn up last minute, so I just thought, you know what, I know his role, I'll just play, I'll do one scene, and we'll shoot for a day or two, see how it looks. And I thought, you know what, if I carry on the rate we're going, we'll get the film finished in 10 days.
Okay.
So it was just a matter of, and I thought, well, the worst case scenario, I can reshoot, hire a professional actor. And actually, it turned out I wasn't really acting, I was kind of mostly being myself. And it kind of worked. I think it's very hard to capture authenticity in a movie. And I think by by improvising and having fun, having no resistance, we just found a story. And
that finding authenticity within the movie is something really difficult to get hold of and put it in a bottle and share it, especially if you're trying to find an actor to do the part. They often overperform. And this movie was kind of a documentary type feel to it, or was that not the plan?
I don't know what it was really.
Okay,
I still don't know what it is. But
what was the name of this?
It's called Made for Real.
Made for Real. Yes.
Yeah, it's spelled REEL, but it won loads of awards. It got picked up at Cannes. It got a Hollywood distributor. but it did really well. I don't know what it's a mixture of genres. It's fiction and non-fiction. It starts out as me just pranking girls, getting their numbers and then getting the cameraman to do the same. So we're just having a laugh. But when within that we found stories, they would have a go at us, and then we'd decide to make a real film, and that's kind of the broad spectrum of the story. But it's all about identity. What is it about? What is it about Camden that makes Camden what it is? What is it about a person that makes a person who they are? Because studying philosophy at uni kind of helped, really. I could sort of think about things a bit deeper.
So did you just turn up at Camden? All the other people that are in the film, are they kind of like normal people that you just found on the day?
We just got really drunk and just started. We couldn't use half the footage because we didn't have any release forms.
Okay.
One day we got pissed and just went around filming, and being stupid. So there was that, and then they're all real people. We barely used any actors, one or two, and then we knocked on this guy's door and it said, "Do not press here," and we pressed the button and this old guy came out called Vincent Jonas.
Yeah, so you've introduced me to.
Yeah, Vincent Jonas. So we went in there and then we had this bizarre conversation about quantum physics and aliens and all this. And then I thought, suddenly my mind was like, wow, this film could go in all kinds of directions. And then at the end of the interview, he gave me a folder full of local contacts. And then I just opened it at random because I like to do things random and spontaneously. And there was a guy who's a quantum light artist called Paul Friedlander. And I asked him, "Do you want to be in the film?" And we chatted about quantum physics, and I cut between him and Vince, and we found a story there. So it was
that's a really
quite unplanned.
Yeah, and that's a really unique way to go about it. Was there any sort of fear going into all this? You seem quite fearless.
No, I mean, like I said, for me, it's all about getting in the right frame of mind, and then certain things just slot together really well, and then you're doing the right thing. There's no resistance, there's no script or producers or money men or any of that nonsense. The business side of it, I just want to make a good film and see what happens. It wasn't really meant to be shown anywhere. It was just an experiment, a weird experiment. And it was supposed to be a short, but it ended up being over an hour.
Wow.
And then I thought, what do I do with this? And then Vince said, well, I was going to put it on YouTube, and he said, well, just because you make something, it doesn't belong to you. Art transcends ownership. So it's your duty to just put it out there, right? So it doesn't belong to me. I just made it. So, I decided to put it out there, and we kept winning. I think in the end, about 18, 19 awards. A lot of them were wins and nominations.
Wow.
And then we got one at Cannes, and then I decided, well, the following year to go to Cannes, to the film festival, because I'd never been before. I don't know how it works. So that was being spontaneous. I just booked a bus to Cannes, which you should never do. Next 24 hours. So I just got a bus to Cannes.
From London to Cannes.
From London to Cannes. A 24-hour bus ride, which is quite a story in itself. And I just turned up and started knocking on, going around telling people about the movie.
Yeah, they do say that if you're going to go to something like that maybe you should do some pre-networking, have a plan, have a structure.
No structure, no accommodation, no thought.
And you just worked it out as you went along.
Well, what I learned was, so what I liked about quantum physics is that, but when you look at quantum physics, and that was in the spirit of the movie, is not to look at what you're doing, right?
Right.
When you don't look at things, they behave like waves, and when you look at them, they become particles, subatomic level. So I wanted to make the film in such a way that I don't look at exactly what I'm doing. I won't have a script for the actors. I don't know the location. I want to keep it quantum wave-like, the whole movie. And then when you press record, that's when we'll collapse the wave function, as they say in physics. That's when reality happens. Before you press record or before you know what you're doing, everything is everywhere, right? It's quantum. So that was the spirit in which I made the film, and that's what the spirit that I wanted to enter into the festival. You know, I didn't really want to plan. I didn't.
Because if that had worked for you before, then why change that way?
Why change it?
Why change that?
Yeah, if the people thought I was mad, just turn up, see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
So the first 2 days there was a lot of resistance because I had so many no's, or no one's going to be interested in a film that doesn't have a genre.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a
hard to classify.
Yeah, you can't pigeon. Yeah. It's not a documentary. It's not fiction. What is it? It's a weird film. Mm-hmm. It's a weird length. You know, it's slightly over an hour. It
doesn't fit to the rules necessarily.
Yeah, it breaks all the rules.
Yeah.
So, and then, the first things people ask distributors, how long is it? It's too short. What genre? And I couldn't really answer, you know. So I had a lot of no's, but then I think the second or third day, I went into the market and I just said to myself, it's going to happen. You know, I kind of sensed something. And the first person I spoke to really liked it. They saw the awards and, you know, they said, yeah, we'll take it on, come back in 2 days. Signed a contract, which never happens apparently. You know,
no.
When they didn't even see it, they just took it on.
This is really resonating with me, and I really believe that there is. I've seen this myself recently. I've seen that with what I'm doing here.
Okay.
I really feel that that whole thing about resistance. Before I was doing this we call this a podcast, but it's just really a recorded conversation. Before I was doing this, I was trying to be an actor, and I had 20 years of resistance, but I kept banging my head against a brick wall, kept pushing and pushing and pushing. But then when I stopped and I found this, and I didn't over-plan this, I just had an idea. It was like a vision, and this was the vision, the 2 chairs. On the stage like this, and apart from that, there was no. I'd done 20 years of structure and 20 years of planning and working things out and doing things the way you're supposed to do them. But since I stopped doing that, things are working better for me.
See, exactly. When you stop, the thing is, well, we're influenced by society and what people think, and like when I was making the film, people said, "Oh, have you seen Interstellar? Have you seen this film?" And I just deliberately didn't want to listen to anybody, and not because if I start watching movies, I'm going to start making that movie.
Yes.
So don't listen to anybody. You know, just get all the information from your own thumb. You know, from your own
there is something about being like influenced. Maybe you can be influenced. Maybe there can be a bit of informing. But I think when we're truly being creative, we find it ourselves, don't we? We find it ourselves within the space.
Yeah.
So did this really start for you, this idea, when you started studying quantum physics?
Yeah, I was just listening to it. I was just puzzled by it. It was one of those puzzles that kept me up, which, you know, but then I just, as I thought about it, and as I made the film and meeting people like Vince, I didn't, you know, the idea wasn't to make a film about quantum physics or anything. It was just to make a version of Man Bites Dog in a quirky way, and then somehow being non-resistance, being quantum or wave-like entered into it. And yeah, Vince brought me another guy called Henry Chabin, which has helped produce Real Encounters, our next film, which has just been sold to a distributor as well. But that was he was also interested in the same things I was interested in. It's almost like, you know, people talk about vibrations and energy, and all these people just come to you. You know, as you let your resistance goes down, you'll meet people that are on your wavelength, and
this resonates a lot with me, and I maybe 2 years ago I wouldn't have seen it at all. I wouldn't have understood what we were talking about. But yeah, within the past 9 months, it's very much that way of living rather than the structure that I was trying to force before.
And it feels good, right? It feels right. Yeah.
Yeah, that feeling right. Yeah, that's it. It feels almost like a path is opening up. Like so something's different now. Something rather than daily trying to force a structure or do the things that everyone was telling me to do, or I felt I should be doing because of society's rules. as soon as I came away from that, it feels
crazy,
better. And like you say about the meeting the right people, and I've done over 100 of these now.
Wow.
And all these different individuals that I'd have never met, like yourself, sitting down here having this conversation, meeting Vince, who you introduced me to, and the way that this is transforming as well, and naturally transforming. It's not being forced into something. It's happening organically.
Yeah, exactly. And you get signs as well. So you, like there a few times I'd hire I'd arranged a place, and we got the crew, one-man crew. My friend came, and the actor just didn't turn up.
Mm-hmm.
And then instead of getting angry, I just thought, that's great. It's a really good sign. It means something really good's going to happen.
It wasn't meant to be that way.
It wasn't meant to be that way.
Yeah.
And then I kept the flow going.
Mm-hmm.
And in the second film is called Real Encounters. It's all about energy and identity and how we're all connected. And
so, having not seen these films,
Yeah.
I've seen your stuff that's online, what you've posted up online, but I haven't seen the full movie. So I've seen your trailers and clips and things. Are they? Is it kind of like a sequel? Is it kind of like a follow-on?
Kind of, yeah. They're all about identity. The first one said that, what is it about you that makes you over time? Your body changes, your mind. Is there something that's unchanging? Mm-hmm. So that's what the film was kind of exploring identity. What is it about Camden that doesn't change? Is it the music, people? What is it about a person? And in quantum physics, maybe we can't know ourselves. When we look, we change. When you look at something, it changes. Mm. So it's almost like we're unknowable. And that's the kind of some ideas in the first film. But then the second film, I thought, well, how can identity be spread across? Can it be spread across many people? Maybe we're all part of one big identity. Mm-hmm. And something I was kind of interested in. And I put that question to lots of. We had 16 interviews. The first one was 2, so it was like a bit bigger film, mm-hmm. Longer, 80 minutes, and and the resistant thing. So I wanted to interview a guy who knew all about quantum physics, studied it. An old guy, looked like Einstein. He just and he was like, "Oh, I don't know," and he didn't. He was like, "No, I won't do it. And I was like, "Damn, who am I going to get?" And then Vince introduced me to a guy called Henry, who I rang, and this guy, he's doing exactly what I'm doing. He's mixing realities, but he does it in comic books. So his comic books are part reality, part fiction, and he's also interested in quantum physics and all the things I am. But on top of that, he designs hotels around the world.
Right.
And so we had access suddenly to all these hotels around London that we could film in. So we got something even better.
More and more of the vibrations and the dots are connecting as you're going through this process.
Yeah, and I didn't want to I'm scene 1, scene 2. I just thought, we'll film something and then see what happens, and I'll look at it, and then maybe I can go in this direction or that direction. Not to be too bogged down. I need to get this shot, and we need this location. So it just makes it, like I said, I call it quantum filmmaking.
Yeah. Do you also feel when you were doing this that the things that were happening to you, sometimes you mentioned there's signs, and that you're on the right track, signs that you're doing the right thing because things are working?
Oh my God, yeah, all the time. Signs in every day. Even the next film, which we're starting next week, the people, the way it's arranged, and the location, people that said they'll do it. I'm surprised how it all just fits. Like things just feel right. Mm-hmm. They turn up. There's synchronicities and so on. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I'm really feeling like this is a really important conversation for me, because this past week I've been planning to go to Edinburgh, the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. Which is a place that for years I've wanted to go there, but it's just never fitted in. And it's quite an expensive place to go, the Edinburgh Fringe. But yeah, this past week I started to plan it. And I feel like I was over-planning it based on everything that I've learned over the past 9 months, everything that you're telling me of how everything's worked for you.
Just turn up, just go.
As soon as I'm planning, I am finding that resistance happening. Whereas if I do that thing of just getting on the bus, getting on the train, just turning up and doing my thing and creating something up there.
The important thing is to keep it positive and you know, that frame of mind. But when you start planning, you're going to get resistance because you're going to be, what if it doesn't work out? What if the hotel's not right? Or this doesn't happen? What if I can't get a gig or whatever? So, but if you don't think about any of that and just really believe that you're on the right path, you're doing the right thing, it'll just, things will just fall on your lap, you know.
So you've interviewed quite a lot of people for these 2 movies.
Yeah, quite a lot. I didn't actually find anyone. Everybody came to me, you know. So, in fact, So
did you start with one person, or did you start with one place?
The first one was one, but I didn't have to. This is the weird thing. They were all done in Camden within 10 minutes from my house. Right. I didn't have to go anywhere looking for anyone. They literally, people just fell on my lap, and I even had 5 quite well-known actors in the last one. And this was another thing. They were all. The week I wanted to film, these people live up and down the country. The week I was filming, they were all in London.
Wow.
All 5 of them. So I got all the interviews. I had Bashka Patel. He just finished, I think it was Emmerdale. He was just in London. And then John Camplin, he was free that week. He's in Harry Potter or whatever. And Mark Silcox, Man Like Mo Bean, he was again free that week. Lucy Speed just happened to be passing through London. She's on the bill and EastEnders. So, yeah, it was just... And
you found these people through the connections?
Well, actually, working on the bill, I knew...
You had some connections there already? I had some
connections, from Lucy. And
so things from your past started to still resonate now into the thing that you're doing?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's all, time. What is time, right? It's all... all the tiny things that happened like 20, 30 years ago, they all seem to come together now, and then you think, oh, that's why that happened.
In lots of different ways. It's funny, I was recently thinking about someone that passed away a year ago, and I was thinking how the actions that person took 20 years ago are still having an effect today. There's still this ripple effect happening. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. But yeah, we do when we're active in some kind of pursuit, it does continue, doesn't it?
Definitely, yeah. I think at the bill, I remember I directed one scene. It was a big crew. You could apply for directing and. Up and down, like hundreds of people did, but somehow...
What was your job on the bill?
I was an editor. So
right. Is that where you met my brother?
Yeah, that's where I met. Yeah. So I turned up at the bill as an assistant, for about 3 or 4 years, and then finally I got a break as an editor. There was a guy called Brian Oates, an old editor, and I was like, Brian, I'm not getting a break here. What do I do? How do I convince my boss to give me a break? And they weren't giving me a break because I was too valuable to them.
You fitted into the box that
they gave me. If I became an editor, I would be free. I'd leave, and then they'd have to retrain someone. Which it was quite. I was looking after 10 edit suites, Avids, and whatever.
Yeah.
So Brian said, "Oh, there's a director coming in. Just tell him how great he is and how you'd love to edit one of his blocks, that you admire his work." So I did that. I didn't want to do that, but somehow it worked.
Right.
And I got a break as editor. But then this is the weird thing. As soon as I got my break, the bill closed down. It stopped being made.
So you was there right at the end.
I was there right at the end, and then they were like, "Oh, we're no longer making it." I'm like, "Damn, I just."
But you had the experience though of editing.
Oh yeah, I could edit as well as any of the edit.
You had the experience of directing.
Yeah, I had a little bit there. Yes, a little bit of directing. But then I was like, what do I do?
That career kind of come to a stop.
The editing thing came to a stop there and then, because to become a successful editor, you contacts, in different dramas and post-production supervisor or whatever. So I thought, damn, what do I do? And a friend of mine said, Barry said, why don't you get into visual effects? there's a big demand for compositors. So this is another sort of synchronicity. So I borrowed £3,000 from my mum to do a course, and then my first job was £1,000 a week for 3 weeks, and then I've been compositing ever since. Doing that,
And for those that don't know, what is compositing?
So it's putting all the effects on a film. So it's smoke, fire, removing things, adding the background, the green screen. So.
And you've worked on some big productions with that, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen you Marvel, Disney.
Well, The Lion King and Gravity and Terminator, Iron Man. Those kind of level.
How does that feel to be part of big productions like that? Is that a different feeling than the bill? One day you were working on the bill, and then
the bill, you meet up with the bill editors, and they're just like very grumpy people, as you probably know. They're just like all they're talking about is their next job, or who the director is of that, who's producing that block, so they can get their next job. But compositing, you don't have to worry about that. There's so many jobs, so there's big demand. So it's a different kind of feeling. But yeah, editing is great. It's fun. It's how you make the film is one of the most important parts.
So it feels different as it from a job perspective in the industry, rather than the type of the productions that you were working on.
Because you're working on like one shot, which is a second long for maybe weeks and weeks. Editing is like chop, put it together, but then you kind of. Whatever you do, the producers aren't happy. You have to recut it, and then executive producer, and then notes. It becomes a bit more like a button pusher.
Right. Okay.
It's a different. You have to.
So you fell compositing. Am I saying that right? Is that what it is?
That was editing, but compositing is a bit more. It's more technical. You have to get the color right.
And would you say that fits you better as well?
I don't know. Really, it fits me. Yeah, well, it works for me, pays the bills.
Yes, yeah.
Gets me jobs, and then I really enjoy it. But they're both me. I don't know what's me. That's a good question.
Yeah. Like you were trying to answer with your film. What are we? And should we try and should we try and pigeonhole ourselves when it doesn't work for us? When other people have tried to pigeonhole us. When you were working on the bill and they were trying to say you're good as an assistant, you're perfect there.
Yeah,
it's not right. So why should we do that to ourselves as well?
Yeah, I think the thing I've noticed about these jobs, technical jobs like editing, compositing, they're all kind of want to direct, or they wanted to, or they've forgotten the joy of filmmaking, and so they just sit there in the dark rooms with their headphones on, 10 hours a day on the computer. And
so do you think for most in that part of the industry, it did start off as a place of wanting to be a filmmaker, but then got just got all tied up in the technical stuff?
Yeah, because after my film, I went back to compositing, and I still do it. And then people realise what I've done. They Google me, or they've seen my LinkedIn profile, and then they're like, "Oh, I wanted to do that," or I've got this film, but I need money, I need this, and they give about 100 excuses why they can't do it. Or I've written this, but it's never, it needs loads of money. So I just said, I'll just make it, but it's people put their own resistance up, and then they forget it, and it just becomes a job, a 9 to 5 for them.
Yeah. Do you think something in the resistance is the seeking perfection? A lot of people go out there and they want to make a film, they want to make it perfectly, like you was trying to do with the film that you didn't let go for a few years.
Yeah, exactly.
You were looking for perfection.
I was, yeah. It was really complicated, 3D, and wanted to make it just right. And yeah, exactly.
And in seeking that perfection, it stopped it.
It is, yeah.
Or for a lot of people, you don't even start.
Yeah, exactly. They become paralysed with the thought of money. You need this much amount of money.
It's overwhelming, isn't it? The perfection. If you're seeking that, it becomes too much. There's too many elements. Isn't there?
So that's what we're exploring in the new film. It's about, is perfection good? It's about survival of the fittest. Just because something survives, or is the latest iPhone, is it the best? What about the previous technology? And maybe that has value as well. So we're exploring these ideas it's a comedy, but it's it's exactly that.
So this is the film that you're working on
now. Yeah,
on now. Has it got a title? Title?
Real Survivors.
Real Survivors.
But spelled REEL. So
Again,
so
there is a trilogy.
There's a trilogy there.
So there is a and it does feel like there is a theme through these films that you're making of you're trying to find the answers to something, aren't you? You're trying to find the answers to some of what's going on in this world, in life, aren't you?
I think we all. I think especially nowadays with this technology, we're getting people are losing themselves. They don't know who they are or what they want.
Mm-hmm.
And now with AI, especially, you don't even know if you're talking to like a robot or a human being. And then, I think there is some questions there that could. I didn't want to make a boring documentary about physics with explaining it with diagrams. So I wanted to engage the younger people as well, make it fun and light. Yeah. Have some deep questions, and I don't know. You do what you like, and then hopefully people like it.
Hopefully others it'll resonate with them.
It'll resonate, yeah. So rather than, I need this in it and I need that.
Yeah, you're not trying to school anyone. You're not trying to just educate. It is entertainment, but within the entertainment there is some value.
Yeah. There's some questions I'm genuinely interested in. So. Yeah, but these are things that a lot of people are exploring. I think they're about themselves, about their identity, and
what I'm starting to wonder with this is where did this all start for you? Where did this kind of filmmaking life start? Did you just was it when you were younger? Was there a point where you were like, this is what I want to do? Filmmaking?
Yeah, I think really young, like 8, 9, 10. I think art was my best subject. I was always excelled at drawing and painting. But then, university, studying philosophy, I decided to get into film and TV. I felt my eye was like a camera. I'd watch films and I'd look around me and I think this could be a good shot, or, I could do that. I'd like watch Woody Allen films. And I liked his style of filmmaking, kind of very improvised and handheld. And his films are more about relationships, but these things resonated with me. But then I kind of stopped really. I got too involved with trying to make money and getting a job, and
doing all the things society tells you have to do.
Exactly. I have to do this, and then I have to do this course.
And I guess when you're in your late teens, early 20s, you start wanting things, don't you? It's quite natural to look to the people around you.
Yeah.
They start to get things, don't they? Like cars and girlfriends and boyfriends and whatever, and homes and holidays, and
you want something,
you start to want things, don't you? So maybe your craft or the thing that you're good at, you might have to put to one side. Is that kind of what you did?
I think I did, definitely. Yeah, I put it to one side. But I knew deep down, like a very deep level, that it would come out eventually. Even if it took 20, 30 years, it would eventually. I'd find a outlet for my creativity. It's always been
it's always like been burning away at you like that.
I think so. Yeah,
you can't really turn it off, can you? You can't if you've got that filmmaker vision, you don't just stop that one day, do you?
No,
you don't stop thinking in that way.
No. You can stop thinking, but like it's society, you get bogged down with life and marriage and children and cars or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's also in the film, and it's very attractive. They do pay you a lot of money as an artist and working on films, and then that's fine. I'll do that. I'll forget about my dreams for a while.
Yeah, you maybe pay me off and for my time and my and I'll put all that on hold. So you put things on hold for a little while. What brought you back into it all then? What made you turn around and go, I need to get into filmmaking now?
It wasn't. It was just the spark. I don't know what sparked it, but you can call it intuition or what. Something inside me was tugging away inside, saying you need to do this. Like now, you got a chance. Take the you got a ball here, you got to do something with it, right? My friend happened to have a camera, and he just said I'm available next week. I was like, let's just do it. And then you get momentum and you keep going. And then, And then you're like, you go back to your job and you think, damn, what am I doing here? I want to make another film.
And so you do make another film instead of going back to the
one.
job.
Yeah, exactly. And it's
well, you can't do it straight away, can you? I guess it does take a bit of time to get yourself into a position where you can start to look at it as that's the career.
Yeah, it's different for everyone. For me, I don't know if it's a career. It's just fun. I don't see it as a job or work. It's just, people said, how long did it take to edit? I don't know. It's 6 months in my bedroom on an editing suite, but I just did it when I felt inspired to work on it.
Yeah, sure.
And then eventually the scenes just start kissing each other and blending into each other. And there is no, it's not like, of course, you do need, I think for people, you need a steady job as well to fund these things yourself. Or at least time, if you're going to spend 6 months working on something, it's evenings and weekends, I suppose, for you.
Yeah, we've still got to have and do the life, especially if there's people around us, like say, like family. You got children yourself?
Yeah, I've got kids, yeah. But I'm in a lucky position. I do have some passive income and stuff, so you can kind of make ends meet just about.
Yeah.
But I know that eventually I'll have to get into compositing for a bit, to pay the bills, and then go back. But it's not a lot of time and work, really. It's not work. Yes, like I said,
it's not work. If you enjoy it, if you're doing the thing that you have a passion for.
That's what they say. When you found what you love to do, you don't have to work a day in your life. So.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's when I'm sitting down, I'm editing these, or I'm having these conversations with people. It doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like last night I was editing videos till about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Exactly. You forget you're doing it.
You forget you do it. Time just passes naturally, and there was no stress over that. It was no, oh my god, 3 o'clock in the morning. It was just like that's just what I chose to do. Spend my free time on was editing videos. Yeah. And even there is a little bit of structure with this that I'm trying to stick to, as I'm trying to put this out regularly. So I do put a little bit of structure into what I'm doing. I'm not being completely in a flow state.
Yeah, you need some structure. Even I do. People are, what's this film about, or what's the script? But I have little tricks. I don't tell the actors the script.
Okay.
Until just before filming. And then I'll kind of say, oh yeah, you know what? Just tell me off in this scene.
So you have an idea, but you don't want to overforce that.
I don't want to overthink things. So, and the way to do that is not to think, just forget about it. Until the time comes. You kind of have a broad structure, it's like painting, isn't it? You have an outline and pencil, then you start filling it in, and then.
What's the reason for that? What is it that you're hoping to get from that? Doing it that way.
I want to get authenticity, to get people's natural response, to get to the truth. Philosophy is about truth, and and filmmaking is a lie.
Filmmaking is a.
Well, they say filmmaking is a lie that uncovers the truth. So I want to, put those things together, try and get some truth. From a situation or from a person. I think in one scene, and a lot of actors know this, they'll throw a spanner in the works just to get your reaction, right? You must have done that. So.
What type of thing would they?
Well, I think one actor, he I was supposed to talk to the camera about like robots and AIs. And he was meant to be a security guard, and he tells me to stop filming. And then I was like, no, don't worry. And he gets angry and stuff. And then second take, he did the same thing. And third take, he didn't tell me what he was going to do. He just picked me up and took me away. I had no idea he was going to do that.
Well, what's interesting with that, I've seen that clip on TikTok, and I took that as real. I didn't take that as an improvised piece.
Really?
I took that as you wanted to have a moment to say something to camera. You was doing a bit of poetry. It was a stream of consciousness. Yeah. Yes, it almost felt like a piece of poetry, and the security guard was saying to you, no, you can't do this, and you just happened to get that, being taken out. I did find it quite comical as at the same time. So I was like, I did question it. I was like, is it
real?
Is it real?
Fake?
Is it fake? Or
that was a fake. Yeah, so it's funny the people that were actors and fake, they seem more real, because I let the actors breathe and improvise. One of the first scenes, a woman called actor and actress, everyone thought she was real and crazy. She plays a loony in the film, and they thought, where did you find this woman? It's like all over the place, right? She's talking about trees and plants and using her body and movement, 'cause she does theatre and movement, and she just kind of went with it. She was so real, but again, no script. It was just,
I guess that gives some value to acting, hearing you say that, because I know some people don't necessarily see the value in actors because you do lose a bit of that authenticity from some performances. However, you've just said an example there where you have seen someone performing so authentically that everyone around them thought they were a real person.
Absolutely, and credit to the actress. She studied. Actually, she told me it seemed natural, but she thought about it and studied it, and thought about how she was going to play it and things. So there's a real craft there, and I appreciate that.
Yeah,
but I don't know too many actors, or I know a few, but like I said, I try to use real people as much as possible, and then you get that thing. They don't have to act; they're just themselves.
It is hard to be ourselves, though, isn't it? It is hard to. I think I did a one-line thing in a TV drama, and I had to go to an audition for it to say this one line. And when it came on TV, and my sister saw it, she went, "You had to audition to say one line," and I was like, "Well, it is like some people can't do that. Some people can't deliver one piece of dialogue in front of a camera because." Having the camera there and all the other stuff that's going around you is an unnatural state. So not everyone can do it. Not everyone can deliver that one line of dialogue.
No, you're right. Yeah. As soon as there's a camera there, when I did try to get a normal person to act or say a line, it didn't seem good. It wasn't. It was fake.
Yeah.
So some people can. They just talk endlessly in front of the camera and forget about it. I don't know how they do it. I saw the Irishman the other day, the De Niro film, and I saw behind the scenes there's like 20 cameras around him, and I was like, how can he act so natural? I don't know how they do it, but I couldn't do, that's why I have a small crew, one person, cameraman who's also the sound man, and I can do that. But as soon as there's people watching, you kind of freeze up, don't you? You're like,
I guess the consciousness starts to take over once there's an audience there, and I guess that's the bit that takes time to get used to and training. Having that audience.
I think I don't know. As an actor, how do you do that? Do you put something around yourself? You have a wall around yourself?
Well, I would say from my perspective, having the experience of theatre. Having that, being used to a big group of people watching what I'm doing and finding comfort within that state of what a lot of people would find uncomfortable. So being so used to being in front of a big group of people that when I transfer that same skill to, say, a film set, where there's a cameraman, a lighting man, someone up a ladder. Do you know what I mean? Someone making the cups of tea. I can still get on and do my thing as an actor because it's a natural place for me to be with people surrounding me, looking at me.
Yeah, it is. Like I said, that's practice, isn't it, I suppose?
Practice, yeah.
I didn't have any, be honest, I was scared to be in front of the camera in the beginning. I thought, I don't want to I don't want to see myself. I hate the way I sound, look, in front of the camera. But then for me, there's a bigger thing, bigger agenda. It's not about me. It's about the film. It's about the story. And it's for the people, right? Because we're all connected.
that's really interesting that you say that as well. It's not about me. It becomes easier when you discover that, doesn't it?
Yeah,
exactly. There's an ease.
Yeah, it becomes a free. Yeah, you become freer because you're. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, you can if you can dissolve your ego somehow, then you can get over that, and yeah, you become freer and more natural, and then maybe we are all connected. Well, we were all once atoms, and now we're all. It seems that we're separate. We're all the same thing, you know. So
I sometimes think that maybe we're, like you say, that once we were all the same thing, we separated. Maybe we're trying to find a way to reconnect. Maybe there's something to that we're trying to find that reconnection.
I think so, definitely.
And
maybe that's the meaning of life, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We're discovering it here.
Yeah, we found it.
We found it, guys. Stop the tape.
Don't need to do any more podcasts.
No more films. We found it. The meaning of life. Maybe it's one of but I think that's the beauty of it. I don't think that we can ever. I don't think we will find the answers. I think it's an ongoing search of what is this about, and saying it's and it's easier to. I think it's easier to find and a better journey to follow when we do that thing of saying it's not about me. This isn't, and it takes so much away from you, and it becomes so much more relaxed and open, and the path of discovery is there for you to have. When you're with an eye as a filmmaker, then, so you've got this filmmaker type vision. Do you still have that when you're in front of the camera?
Oh yeah, because I'm. I don't know. That's a good question. Filmmaker. I don't like categories.
No, of course. Yeah,
a filmmaker, this or that. All I'm doing is making something, piece of art. I've kind of got an idea in my head. But yeah, you're right. Sometimes when I'm interviewing people, I've got questions coming up in the back of my mind. How is this going to look in front of the camera? Is this interesting at all? There is a little bit of resistance that comes up because you're kind of taking yourself out of yourself, putting yourself in a third person as a director, but I'm also acting, so yeah, it becomes, you can kind of sense that when you watch it back. So yeah, there is a bit of that, but yeah, I think, I don't know, just do what you got to do. Just make it, and then, like I said, you can always look back on footage and re-edit things and stuff. But
what's the biggest thing that you've learned about yourself through doing this? The last three, the movie that you're working on now, and the last two movies.
Biggest thing. I guess to be more, quantum and wave-like, and kind of go with the flow, And so that's what I've learned. That's a really important lesson in life as well. And not to be resistant, and just like, and not be scared to create and push the boundaries, and definitely don't listen to anyone.
Do your thing. Do your
thing in your own way.
Don't you? I feel like most of us know, and if we don't know, I guess that's part of it, searching for the answers. Yeah,
and it's being tough as well, because like you can't always use everything. Again, people are always, oh, why didn't you use my poster? Why didn't you use this angle? Why didn't you do that? And and their own egos come into it. Yeah, but they're not. They don't see the whole picture as you do. So you can kind of, you have to be free to edit it how you want. So that's a lot of what I learned as well. I mean, as an editor, you don't use 70, 80% of what you film is thrown away anyway. You don't use all of it, so you can't make everybody happy. You have to do it your own way.
And dealing with people and people's egos within your creative vision is a skill set within itself, isn't it? To learn how to deal with people through this process?
I think so. Yeah, it's something you learn on the way. You know. Yeah.
I get the feeling that most of the people that you've worked with have been, in general, fairly good people and fairly supportive of what you're doing.
Of them, yeah, everyone's been as supportive. Yeah, I needed music. Someone sent me a track and just fitted the start perfectly. Somebody else gave me a track. Oh, that works. I didn't, everyone's been supportive, and these films cost barely anything to make. The locations were given. Like Henry and his there's been a lot of, everyone's been really supportive, and like I said, if you keep your frequency or everything really good, you can just get the right people, I think. You know. So what can I say? For me, I think when I did Made for Real, I won this award, and I had to give a little talk in front of other filmmakers. We all won awards, whatever. And then we had to go around on a speed networking, but their stories were really mostly sad, on how hard it was to get the money, and the problems with the crew and actors and this. And there was a lot of negativity, but I didn't have any of that, so I didn't know what to say. I had to make things up.
You had to make things up to try and feel like you fitted in with the crowd.
To make them feel better. Yeah.
To feel better. Oh, I had a terrible time too.
Oh, so hard, yeah.
So what does that mean to you, receiving awards for the work that you've done?
I don't know. It's nice to get awarded. I wasn't sure how much these meant, but then you get so many, and then you think, oh, people like it in the industry, because it's quite, what we're making is original. That's why I think filmmakers like it. They're not sure what it is, and they kind of get it, and it's confusing a bit. So yeah, it's nice. At the end of the day, it comes out on Made for Real. Is out. Sorry. Me.
That's right. There's water there if you need.
It's out on the 26th of April on Prime.
Nice.
So we'll let the world decide what they think of it.
And that which one's that? That's
Made for Real. Yeah.
Made for Real.
Yeah, RWL. So it's coming out this month.
Okay. And Real Encounters, when's that?
Real Encounters is just delivered to the distributor. They seem good. They seem on the ball. So hopefully not too long after.
And because I know you had a showing for that, didn't you, recently?
Yeah, it was just a private viewing. That was quite scary, because I didn't know how people would respond. It's long, really intense, philosophically, slightly confusing film. Is it? But also comedy. Yeah, people really liked it. They wanted to see it again, and really spoke to people at different ages and different levels. So I think I'm quite positive about that one as well. Yeah, it was shot on a slightly different camera, but it's more or less the same kind of style.
How does that help you moving forward, the way that people respond to the work that you've done? Well,
it just makes me want to do it more, and in my own way. I was like, damn, my instinct was right. I've got to keep on. I've got a creative impulse now for the next one. I just want to do it. I know it's going to be really funny. It's going to be unique. So, just you're on the right path. People like it.
So there isn't a date for Real Encounters yet.
Not yet. No, it's only just been delivered. Yeah,
it's been delivered, and that's like a behind the scenes working on that.
No, that's finished, done and dusted.
Completely done it.
That's
finished.
Completely finished. Right. Edited. It's all delivered to the distributor. It's actually in the post to them, to Hollywood, and they should get it this week. And that's the final bit. And once they've got it, then they will decide how they're gonna market it, what channels. Made for Real is going to go to 200 or 300 different video on demand places.
Okay.
This one hopefully the same, and then the next one. I don't like to ask money for films, so I'd rather just do it myself, because then you get too much resistance. How do you get money? And then you got to try and please people and so on.
Yes, yeah.
So I'll just try and self-fund it, and then
Yeah, that is the hard thing with creative projects, and especially in filmmaking, is the money. You've found a way to do this without seeking money. Where you've found a way to just go out there with the equipment that you've got, the people that you know, and and create something.
Yeah, that's what you need. Anybody could do it, but people are so hung up on, I need a camera and I need this and that. I need a big film. I need a big crew, and they put their own resistances up. Anybody can make a film. You don't need a big, expensive camera or a big crew. Especially if your first few films. I think Goddard made a film on his phone. So that was one of the last things he did.
Yeah.
You just need a good idea, I think, and then things will just come to you. As you think of an idea,
and you build on that. You build on that idea.
Yeah. I mean, if you want money, money will come to you. That's easy.
Especially if you've got things behind you like the awards and the what do we call it? The praise from people. Then people can see that you can do this. See what you can achieve with nothing. Now, what can you achieve with £10,000?
Yeah, you never know.
£10 million.
Yeah, I mean, the films cost 10,000-20,000, but that's like not paying myself or months off work or and then also delivery. But you never know. If I had £1 million, they wouldn't be the same film. It'd be a different. Suddenly, I'd have a big crew, and I'd lose the authenticity, and it may be terrible. So it's I don't see it as an obstacle. Money, I think it's a challenge. To do something under. Like I said, Man Bites Dog was made for $20,000 or euros or something.
Yeah.
So and
that's really inspired you moving forward, hasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like really low budget. Yeah, even technically, it doesn't have to be great. Even I think there's a film called Clarks. I don't know if you've seen that one with Kevin Smith.
Oh, of course, yes, yeah.
Yeah,
that's he funded that. I think that one, if I remember rightly, he took out credit cards and he just took a complete gamble on himself, and he funded that all. I think he got it was 15,000 in debt on credit cards for that film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly, cult classic.
Cult classic, and launched his career.
Yeah, and it didn't. It wasn't brilliantly filmed. It was just
in a corner shop.
Corner shop, yeah.
Corner shop. Two or three friends. Filmed over. I think it's filmed over 4 days.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was a film for me that really opened me up to filmmaking, and was like, I really want to get involved with this. Also, my brother, having someone. My brother, I grew up. My brother's 10 years older than me.
Oh, really?
So when I was young, I watched him going into the industry, and I was looking at him and going, "Oh, this looks fun. This looks interesting. What he's doing."
I wonder how he got into it. I'd be quite interested because we both worked on a film called The Last Seven. Terrible film, but
yes.
I was editing on it, and then I did all the work, and then your brother kind of swooped in, did a bit of editing, and also got a credit, and I was like,
right,
damn, that's not fair. And then soon after, he was making films.
Yes, well, of course, there's his episode. He's done one of these episodes where we sit sit down and have a chat. But for my brother, from what I saw, he always. I've never known him to not want to be making films. Even when we was home, when I was younger, and we'd have the home cinema camera, he'd have me acting in films that he was making. We were making films at home, and I didn't know I was acting. I didn't know when I was playing. I was Doctor. There's a film of me being Doctor Who, and I'm like 12 years old, and I didn't realise this. Me playing as Doctor Who was me acting on a film, and my brother was filming it and editing it and creating this stuff. But I seem to remember he had that film, that Man Bites Dog, as well. But he just always wanted to be a filmmaker. From what I can remember, that was all he was interested. He was interested in film, and I copied that as well, and learned a lot from that, and learned a lot from watching films. And he went into the industry as a runner to start with, and I don't believe he always wanted to be an editor. I believe he wanted to start off in special effects.
Oh right.
That was his main interest. There was a film I remember he was inspired by called SFX, an 80s film. Do you know that one at all?
No, I don't know that one.
And it was a film about the special effects department, but they get tangled up in some kind of murder, and then they use the special effects from the film in the real life. And and I think he was quite inspired by that and wanted to get into special effects. And then just found these. I think he was quite opening into discovering different parts within the industry, and fell into editing, and worked on.
We had quite similar paths because we were both editors at roughly the same time. He was obviously more of an editor than me because I was assistant, but then I went into VFX. He carried on editing and then moved into filmmaking, and then I think last year I met him in Cannes.
Yes,
He was saying I was trying to get some advice about what to do, where to go.
So he's someone that's in that position of he's a filmmaker, a director, a producer, and he has made some of his own movies, and he's got to a certain level now that he wants to continue that level moving forward, and he wants to make things to a certain standard, so he is seeking financial backing. He is holding out on that movie until all the financial pieces have come together.
Yeah, which is fine. It could work if he feels it's right. But I know one guy, a friend of mine, he just tried to get money for years on a big budget film script that he has and never got it made, and then just gave up the whole industry and moved abroad doing something completely different.
And I guess that's the worst thing that you could do for yourself, isn't it? If that's something you love, is to find yourself in a position where it's
you just despise it, or
where you hate it, or you can't move forward.
I think it's freeing. It's like, if you look at children, they're not resistant to anything. They can just paint, draw, act silly. They can be themselves. And then if you can do that yourself, in your industry or your craft, if you can be free, that's like one of the best things, I think.
Yeah. Being open to, I'm thinking back to me and my brother when we were young, and thinking back to that time of just play. And I guess when you're trying to do it as a career and you're trying to get that financial support out of the thing that you love, you kind of forget play sometimes, don't you, maybe?
Definitely, yeah.
It's very easy for us adults to do that because we're kind of told to stop doing it at some point as well, aren't we?
Yeah, I think you just got to be silly and play, you're right, and just do that. But as soon as money comes involved and millions of pounds and people are counting on you and 50 producers or whatever put money into the pie, then you the only way you can play really is if you're really high level. You can do what you want because you got a big name, right? A big director or something. But our level, it's. I think you can still do that. Yeah, people have to trust you, with your vision.
How do people find trust in you then?
I don't know. I don't know how they trust me, but they do. But I'm not using up a lot of actors' time. Like normally it's like half a day or an hour. Lucy Speed came, we chatted in the rain for 20 minutes, so that sort of thing. It's just, I'm just doing interviews. I'm not doing anything. There's nothing to trust really. It's quite authentic. Obviously, some people like who believe in UFOs. I think one guy, he thought I was going to make fun of him. So he wasn't sure if he could trust me. He didn't know me. Okay. Because he'd been stung in the past. He was.
I've found that a little bit with this, actually, reaching out to people. I've reached out to a couple of professional actors, people that I've got a bit of a connection with, and thought that they would be open to sitting down with me, but from their experiences of being burnt and having their words misinterpreted or twisted, very cautious to do something like this, to have an open conversation.
Yeah, well, I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the industry's a bit tough in that way, isn't it? As well.
Yeah, you have to trust that you're not going to replace my face with Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, or twist it, or manipulation. Edit the words.
Cut the words out. Make me sound like a Nazi or whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's it. You can say that one word and that taken out. Put that on the beginning of the tape, and some people will do that for there's the whole social media thing going on at the moment where people want clickbait, people want statistics, views, numbers, and so they'll do things to get those views and numbers.
Yeah, I wonder why they want. Why do they want the views and numbers? I don't know why people want that.
I feel like it's an attention thing, or some kind of. They feel maybe it gives them the numbers kind of give them some kind of.
Is it like dopamine levels? It helps,
Yeah.
Gives them a hit.
Gives them a hit, makes them feel valued, having something to prove. You can say, "Oh, I got on my last video, I got 20,000 views, therefore 20,000 people like me."
Exactly. Yeah.
Is that what it is? 20,000 people don't necessarily like you.
Yeah, by the way, don't forget to subscribe to this channel.
Of course, like and subscribe. And I guess, where I'm doing all the social media stuff. I'm putting this all over social media, and I'd like to say I'm not doing it for the view count. I'm doing it for putting the message out there, for spreading the conversations that I've had, the individuals that I've sat down with, rather than the metrics.
Yeah. Are you learning things from it?
Massively. Every single time. Like I said, within 10 minutes of you sitting down here, the things that you were saying were resonating and even reassuring. The things that you were saying, I was very reassured by my own thoughts that I was having about things. So I'm getting so much value from this, more than anything else that I've done in my life prior to this.
Amazing.
Apart from my kids, that's a different kind of value, isn't it?
Yeah. Absolutely, me too. I'm learning through the filmmaking, the process, and even the technical side. I'm learning so much, and through interviews, and then just thinking about it. Like I interviewed one lady, and I didn't know during the interview. I wasn't sure what she was saying, and it was only editing, like near the end of the film, I slowly understood what she meant. And so, yeah, sometimes it could take time because when you're in interview mode, you don't always know. Yeah, you're in different mode, but when you look back, you've had time to reflect and ponder. And so, yeah, I'm learning tons as well.
Yeah, and that watching, I do watch all of these back in full, and when I watch them back, I'm learning to take on to the next one. I feel like every single one of these I'm doing is getting 1% better each time. Started from a place of nothing. If you look back at the very first one of these I'm doing, I talk in a terrible way, and I'm trying to over-present, and I'm thinking about every single word, and I'm trying to take all the things I've learned from acting and performing, and the first one. Luckily, I did it with my best friend, and we sat down and just and we tried the conversation, and I tried this little bit at the beginning and put this thing on the end of the tape, and it's just like, it just doesn't feel right. And so slowly it's evolved, and it's changing into something different. And it's evolved also into I'm doing these group conversations now as well.
Hey, all right, cool.
Which has transformed things. Where I've had 7 individuals in a circle. They've all been on the podcast with me, but they don't know each other. And they're all in different creative fields.
Oh, that's so cool. It's a good idea.
And it was really special, and that was about 2 or 3 weeks ago now, and they're all still connecting with each other, and they've become friends, and and they didn't know each other before that night that we all sat down.
Yeah, cool.
And one's a drama teacher, one's a businessman, one's an artist, one's a singer, all like completely different things. But we sat down for 2 hours and had this group conversation about.
Exactly. What you're doing is really important. You're connecting people, and then wouldn't otherwise meet. And in this country, especially in the last century or whatever, people are so specialised and they don't talk to each other. And even in my industries, in compositing or visual effects, 3D people won't talk to compositors, or won't talk to, editors or whatever, they're all so different, but they were in the same industry. People don't, they don't mix, and that, I think there's a lot of value in sharing ideas and thoughts. And it used to be like that, in cafes, cafe society in Venice or whatever, but I think we've lost a bit of that. So it's great you're doing that. So
Why do you think we've lost it a bit?
people have become too specialised in their own work, and then insular, and working from home doesn't help. You don't meet anyone. You meet people in your own industry, in your own specialised industry. When you go to a coffee shop, you can meet anyone. You can meet a bread maker, or I live in Kentish Town, so it's just so vibrant, the people that you meet. Yeah, and I think even in my film, we set up a WhatsApp group for all the people that I interviewed, and they're all friends with each other now, and they post regularly, and they're all from different fields as well. So.
Yeah, I briefly looked. You invited me to that to connect with some of them. Didn't you?
Yeah,
I briefly looked in on that, and yeah, we can use some of these new. They're like new inventions, aren't they? WhatsApp and new tools to us to connect in different ways.
Absolutely, yeah.
And we can use that to sort of strengthen the connections. In fact, I have a WhatsApp group with the guests for this. Even the ones that haven't met each other are starting to connect in ways as well. So yeah, that connection is, I think it strengthens the things that we do, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, definitely, yeah. We're all connected, right? So
yeah. So what does the future hold for you then? Do you have any plans moving forward after this film that you're working on at the moment?
No,
or from what you've sort of said, that wouldn't kind of go with the with the way that you do things, would it?
After this film, trilogy will be complete. Mm-hmm. So
you've got you've got your own personal Cornetto trilogy,
and then I do sense something happening, but I don't. I don't want to put attention to it at the moment.
Yeah, yeah. I've learned that as well. That if you put too much out there, that can often stop it from happening. I used to be one of these people that used to say, "I'm doing this." I'd have an idea, and I'd want to talk to everyone about this idea, and somehow it would kill it.
It would kill it. Yeah, yeah. I think like someone said. Yeah, someone asked me, "What's your next film about?" I was like, I can't say, I can't tell you, I can't even tell myself. You're looking at it, we'll change it. So keep it pure. And you have I sense something, but before I go there, I need to do this sort of thing first. And I think I'm on the right path, so I know I am. So,
and we know that it changes as well.
Changes.
So you have to be open to that change, don't you?
Yeah, you got to be like a wave. Yeah, you've got to be completely free and open. Yeah, I was looking at this floor here. They're like waves everywhere. I keep looking at them.
Yes, yeah.
Cool. But yeah, I think if it feels right, I'll go with the flow. As it's a bit of a hackneyed expression, but yeah, that's what I want to do. Just keep going with the flow, and I'm happy to change directions. I might do something completely different. But yeah, it'd be nice to make a simple story like fiction. It might be hard. I don't know. I'm not really a writer. I have some dialogues, but then even I think Scorsese in some of his early movies, he didn't really write the films. He'll set up scenarios. He'll get the actors to act, and then based on the acting, he would write a script. What they say, and then his films are quite authentic. So I think if I was to write a script, it would be something along those lines.
It'll still be quite loose.
It'll be very loose, unstructured, and then I'd let the actors fill in the blanks.
Nice. Well, I really appreciate you joining me for this conversation today.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's been lovely to have you here. Last question then. What advice, you've already given a lot of advice and a lot of wisdom and knowledge, and you've shared a lot, but if you was to meet someone starting out in the industry today, a young filmmaker, what would you say to them to help them move forward?
I would say just pick up a camera and start filming, just to take action, take a small step and just do it. Don't overthink anything. Just get on with it, and don't listen to anyone. And be yourself. Yeah.
Wonderful.
That's my advice.
Well, thank you, Jazz.
Thank you.
I really appreciate this. Thanks a lot for your time. Appreciate if there is anyone watching or listening. We appreciate you for joining us. And like we said earlier, don't forget to like and subscribe.
I can subscribe and made for real.
Yeah. So just remind us, where are we going to find Made for Real?
So Made for Real, RWL. There's a website, madeforreal.com, but it will be on Amazon shortly this month, hopefully. They said the 26th, so it could be slightly later, but yeah, you can watch it on Prime.
Okay.
And Real Encounters soon after, hopefully.
Wonderful. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jazz.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.